Shall we start? What was the last topic? Hmm? Sorry? Design. Product design. Yes. Study note number 3, right? So, today's class will start with strategic management. Okay? How much weightage strategic management has? 40. Okay. So, how many units? 4 units, study notes, whatever you call chapters. 4. And what is the weightage for each one of them? 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Okay. The major problem is this first 10. The major problem is with the first 10. Why? Because other chapters are very small, very easy to crack. I'm not saying this also is tough, but here there are lot many things we need to learn for 10 marks. Okay. For examiner, this first unit is good because he has lot of choice. Second, third, fourth unit is very easy. Easily the students can guess. So I'm not asking you to skip this, because if you skip this, the basic foundation will go. So first unit will talk more about the introduction. Then next units talks about advancement of it. So what I'll do, before we start with strategic management, first of all let me give you some overview, because for you it's a wildcard entry. And let me tell you, this by itself is an ocean. Strategic management by itself is an ocean, and what you dig out is only a drop. The speciality of this is we do specialization on this. Ante there will be students who do MBA in strategic management. Ante that by itself is a subject, and what you do here is you will just touch it and run away. That's it. And you will touch all the, like in kabaddi you touch the players, no? Like this you will touch all the topics and run away. That is the problem. And what you have is just the basic part only. But the problem here is some of the technical jargons you should know. And I really have a very simple version, students. If you listen well, with patience, right, with concentration, you don't need a revision at all. So listen carefully. Wherever I say note down, please note down. Again, of course, they'll give you this material. What I've done, wherever a general introduction is required, I have gone beyond the material and I have added that. And somewhere I have dragged some concepts directly from the material. Why? Like OM I said, some of these concepts you get a direct question, right? And let me tell you, if somebody is confident enough in strategic management itself, or minimum to minimum, if you attend this 4 study notes, 30% of marks you can crack, 30% weightage. And I'm telling you, another 10% from theory from 1, 3, 5 units, another 10. So even if these 2 will make you through the exam, right? Problems and all are complementary. Short questions are complementary. At least this portion you can target on. So strategic management itself will become your lifeline. Okay? But conditions apply, you should learn. So students, what I'll do, anyhow we'll go from the basics of the subject. But first let me tell you, what is the strategic management all about? In our introduction class, I don't know whether you remember or not, we were talking about 2 terms, effectiveness and efficiency. What is effectiveness, students? Doing, forgot, right things. Efficiency, doing things right. Why these 2 factors are important? Efficiency is doing things right, effectiveness is doing right things. Why these 2 factors are important? If somebody is successful or somebody is failure in their attempt, these 2 factors will decide whether they are successful or whether they are failure. So effectiveness and efficiency are 2 things which are really required. Now, efficiency is a subject of OM. We do things right. Effectiveness is a subject of SM, strategic management. There's a principal combination of this also. Maybe in my course of lecture, in formulation chapter, I'll talk more about it. I'll recall it. After learning these subjects, what will you do? You will become more effective in terms of making a strategy. What is a strategy? It's a formula. It's a formula or a trick to succeed in some affair. So the complete strategic management, students, can be made into two parts. First one, making. First you have to make strategy, right? The next one is execution. So I said complete strategic management can be broken down into two parts: making of the strategy and executing that. Whatever you made, you will execute it. Two parts. They are again subdivided into two parts. First part, here we talk about analysis. What is the first part? Analysis. Before you start with the strategy, first of all, you should know about what? There are two different types of analysis we talk: internal, external. Internal, knowing about yourself, knowing about your company, your product, your processes, your customer, all that. Internal analysis. What is external analysis? General analysis: social, political, legal, economical, ecological, legal, all that. External environmental analysis. Why do you analyze at all? Because we need to know the situation. We need to know about what? Gap. We need to know about variation. That gap is called as strategic gap. How do you say that it is a gap? People, why do they do analysis? Because they have expectations and actuals. Actuals and realities. The difference between expectations and minus actuals is always, we call it as problem. The difference of expectations minus actuals will always lead to problem. Why? Your expectations, either they are greater than or less than each other, will always lead to problem. You expected that you will get 80 marks, but you got 20 marks. Expectations are greater than actuals. Don't you think it's a problem? Yes, you expected 80, but you got 20. Don't you think it's a problem? Yes, it is. Reverse, you expected 20, but you got 80. Expectations are less than actuals. For you, it is not a problem, but there is a problem in the system. Why? The fellow wrote only one answer and somebody desperately give him 80 marks. So, it always lead to problem. So, what is the problem now? Expectations minus actuals is always a problem. That problem, we call it as what? Gap. Variation. Variation or deviation ante enti? Either they are greater than or less than. That is called as gap. You know, students, this gap, I use a term called strategic gap. This is 1 mark question. Can you define what is a strategic gap now? It's a variation or a deviation in between your expectations and actuals. That's all. What will you do as a strategist? Ee gap ni penchutara taggistara? Taggichali. Narrow down the gap. So, to narrow down that gap is your aim. The aim and final objective is to close down or narrow down that gap. I use a word here. Idi kuda important. Chaala sarlu vachindi question. What is strategic intent? It's a magnet. It's a force field which pulls you from the present to future. What is strategic intent now? It is like a aim which pulls you, or you can say it is like a magnet which pulls you from the present to future. Ippudu you have to close this gap kada. That is your intent, strategic intent. Okay, analysis part is done. You have analyzed the gap. You have decided that you will close the gap. So what is the second phase, students? Here, second step is called as formulation. Formulation is making. Okay. So once you make the strategy, formulation lo there are various steps. Just 1 minute. Okay. Just see, formulation is making the strategy. How do you formulate? Again, there's a steps. First, there's a vision, mission, goals. I'll explain, right? The formulation. Formulation, once you make the strategy, what is the next step? Execution. Execution, the first step enti? Whatever strategy you made, you should implement. Implementation. Okay. Implemented. For implementation, again, there are different steps. We'll talk about it. After implementation, what should you do? That strategy, whether it is good or bad, evaluation. And after evaluating, you should control them. You should control them. Actually, it is strategic management, which is in 4 steps. Analysis, formulation, implementation, evaluation, and control. Making is one portion, half of the portion. Execution is half of the portion. Inkokati feedback ani untundi. Feedback will connect up all the links. Total 5 elements. Students, let me tell you, if you know this 4 steps and feedback, it's a question for long. 7 marks question adi. What is strategic management model? So 7th unit law will be talking, this study note number 8 will be talking about these terms only. No doubt we'll start from the basic. How the strategy has started, what is strategy, what are the different levels of strategy, what is change management, what is a vision, what is a mission, what is strategic management model, what are the objectives of strategic management, what are the advantages, disadvantages, all that we study in study note number 8. Study note number 8 ee roju anta padutundi, like 4 classes minimum, ante 4 hours minimum, right? But if you are thorough, this becomes a base. Most of you will feel, array 10 marks ki inta chadavala ani. If you don't study this, the remaining chapters would be history and mystery only. I'm telling you, last 25 years low, maximum whatever we have guessed, luckily we got it. Only problem is in operations management. ఎందుకంటే వాడి తిక్కకు ఒక లెక్క ఉండదు. Sometimes he gives completely theory. Sometimes he gives completely problems. Sometimes he gives, because as I said, 6 people said the question paper. సో వాడి దగ్గర నుంచి కొంచెం, వీడి దగ్గర నుంచి కొంచెం అలా తీసుకున్నప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందంటే ఆ చేయి పెట్టినప్పుడు ఆ ప్రాబ్లమ్సే వస్తాయి అందరి దగ్గర నుంచి. అందరి దగ్గర నుంచి థియరీయే వస్తుంది. సో ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ యూ, బట్ స్ట్రాటజిక్ మేనేజ్మెంట్, ఎస్, ఐఎమ్ టెలింగ్ యూ 99% మై గెస్ హ్యాస్ వర్క్డ్ అవుట్ ఆల్ దీస్ డేస్. అంటే నేను సెట్ చేసినా నాకు తెలియదు, నా క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్ వచ్చేంత వరకు తెలియదు. అండ్ యాజ్ అ సెడ్, దట్ ఫెలో అగైన్ మిక్సెస్ అప్. సో దెర్స్ నో ఫన్. There's no fun in, like talking. The only thing is we can guess and we expect you to learn that. That's it. Short questions. Here also what we'll do, again we'll note down along with the main only. Okay, along with OM only. Okay, right. So shall we start now? This was an overview of how you make a strategy, how you implement, evaluate and కంట్రోల్. యాక్చువల్గా అయితే ఎలా ఉండాలంటే, అనాలిసిస్ ఒక యూనిట్, ఫార్ములేషన్ ఒక యూనిట్, ఇంప్లిమెంటేషన్ ఒక యూనిట్, ఎవాల్యుయేషన్ అండ్ కంట్రోల్ 1 యూనిట్. బట్ హియర్ యూ కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ మిక్చర్ ఆర్ కిచడి. వాట్ ఎవర్ హీ వాంట్స్, హీ జస్ట్ గార్నిషెస్ విత్ different variety. That's it. It's a mess, I'm telling you. But you and me cannot do anything except learning and earning, right? So we'll do that only now. But otherwise, this is how the subject has to be taught. First, analysis gurinchi cheppali, formulation. But here, this fellow, introduction second unit lo untadi, direct topic first unit lo untadi, and anta ayipayaka ABC last unit lo untadi. So somewhere, it's an haphazard, but I'm telling you, you and me are just passing clouds. We just cannot do anything. We'll just go according to his sequence and his topics, right? So let us start. Introduction to strategic management. Introduction to strategy and strategic management. Okay. Introduction to strategic management antene akkada strategy gurinchi cheptaru. Ikkada first title, cinema title tappu. Introduction to strategy and strategic management. Okay. So what we'll do, first we'll start with the history of it. How this has started. Actually, the concept of initiation, the strategy was made even before, much before 1911 also. But most of this literature is available from 1911 onwards. Harvard Business University. Most of you might have heard about Harvard Business School. It's again a world famous business school. These guys, they introduced a subject called business policy. What is this policy? Policy ante broad guideline. What is a policy? Broad guideline. What to do, how to do, avanni oka guidelines ichedanne policy anta. They thought, see, we should have a subject to create some general awareness about management capabilities. Ante how to run the business successfully ane dan gurinchi we have to create certain awareness, and we need to talk about the senior management responsibilities and roles so that people are aware of it. If, for example, now, why am I creating this structure and telling you? So that if you are aware, you can write the answer well, you can get good marks. So this is a subject called tuition. Similarly, there should be a policy for the managers, budding managers, first of all, to create an awareness about general management capabilities of how to run the business successfully. That course was nomenclated as business policy. So here, students, for sure this will be for definition. Okay, what is it? Business policy is to create an awareness about general management capabilities, a study of functions, responsibilities of whom? The senior management, which are crucial problems that affects the success of total enterprise and the decision that determine the direction of organization and which shapes its future. Ante all those activities which not only helps in present survival but tomorrow's survival, futuristic survival also. That subject is called as business policy, right? It will come as a fill in the blank. Dash is a subject to create awareness about general management capability, or a subject which talks about, even if you write strategy, he'll cross it. The expected answer is business policy. Okay, next, after knowing about how it has started, after 1911, when does World War come? 1940s law. Just then, the people had a problem in fighting. During the war, most of your operations research techniques, maybe in our operations management, I'll teach you. They had a problem. They had a problem of manpower, missiles, all that. They had a typical problem of shipping the resources from one place to the other place. Just then, they came up with a concept called PERT, CPM, which we have learnt already. So, these were all the techniques which teachers, scientists, mathematicians, statisticians, they all sat together and formulated certain numerical techniques for decision making. So such techniques are also called as strategy. So it's a strategy, right? See, assignment, you are trying to make a strategy to give an optimal solution to it. Transportation, you are making a strategy to give an optimal solution. Ante each of them you are using a word called strategy. So this is business policy slowly converted its name into a word called strategy. Strategy actually is derived from a Greek word called strategia. Idi kuda important chudandi, 1 mark question. Greek word called strategia, which means generalship. Generalship means something which deals with your war, deception of enemy. In a simple terms, strategy is a trick to succeed in some purpose, or it's a skill for managing affair. What is required? Students, I have given many definitions. If you learn these definitions, it's worth it. Because if you know this, somewhere, he'll ask you what is a strategy, what are the characteristics of a strategy. Let me tell you, this question will be for a long question. So if you know the definitions now, see how it will be helpful for us, I'll tell you. First, let me cover. William Gluick, somewhere 2 or 3 names also you have to remember. William Gluick, okay? He said, strategy is unified. Unified ante enti? Unified means one. Comprehensive, detailed, comprehensive ante detailed note. Integrated plan, combined plan. Designed to assure that the basic objectives of enterprise are achieved. Ante unified, integrated plan, comprehensive plan which are used to achieve the objectives of an enterprise, we call it as strategy. It is like a formula to achieve something in a simple terms. Strategy is a long range blueprint. Blueprint ante enti? Framework. It's a long term framework of an organizational desired image, directions and destinations. Ante in which direction should I go? Where should I go? It will tell you. This has come as a fill in the blank many times again. These three words were dash, dash, dash. Strategy generally decides what it wants dash, what it wants dash, and where it wants dash. What it wants to be, what it wants to do, and where it wants to go. That is called as strategy. In a simple terms, it is a comprehensive master plan which help in achieving its vision and objectives. Or, I have written in a very simple terms, strategy maximizes your competitive advantages and minimizes competitive disadvantage. What is competitive advantage now? The advantage what you have over your competitors. For example, there's a job opening for internship. I wanted all group 2 cleared candidate to apply. All of you will apply because all of you have cleared. Then there is only one position there. Then I'll ask you, why should I hire only you in the class? Why not the other? Because all are second group cleared, no? Then you should be able to tell some extra feature, unique feature, which you only have and nobody else in the class have. That advantage, we call it as what? Competitive advantage. This word many times I'll be using. Simple terms low, what is competitive advantage? Unique feature. Or a feature of differentiation. This feature will make you different from other. ఇవన్నీ కూడా టఫ్ అనుకోండి. కాంపిటేటివ్ అడ్వాంటేజ్ we call it as benefit driver. It's a benefit driver. It is making you to get nominated, to get selected, to get focused. So competitive advantage feature is like a benefit driver for the individual or the organization. So students, strategic management or strategy as a subject will help in increasing your competitive advantage. And tomorrow after learning this subject, what will you do? You will try to make some differentiation for your firm. Our differentiation kuda ela cheyalante, it should be unique. The competitor should not be copied. It should be rare. It should not be imitable. Ante imitability should not be there. Just see now a simple example. Communication. Airtel. Airtel whatever it does, Jio next day it will implement. If Jio does, next day Airtel will implement it. Then where is the fun, you tell me? How will you get more profit? It should be unique again. It should be differentiated and it should create some advantage to you. So that is what we call it as strategy. So the three highlighted words, if you learn, most of the concepts in characteristics you can make out. How you see now? Characteristics of a strategy. I have given lot many. Okay. So here actually what happens is, he'll ask a question something like this. What is a strategy? Strategy, actually how it has been derived and all will carry 1 mark. Definition will carry 1 mark. Rest of the points, any 5 points, you'll get 5. Total 7. Or sometimes what he'll do, configuration. Questions chuskondi. 4 plus 3, 2 plus 3, plus 2 plus 2 plus 1. The configuration will decide what to write, how much to write and where to stop. Don't write more. What will happen, most of these fellows, this first one all he has buttified, he'll write. Whatever you write maximum, you'll get only 2 marks there. Don't waste your time. Characteristics, he may give a lot of marks. So there you try to write more number of characteristics if required. See here, strategy helps in decision making. Just now we said it's a long range blueprint. It's a long term process. It need to be specific. It's an integrated activity. Strategy need to be dynamic or flexible, until it should change according to the situation. It should cope with complex and competitive setting. They are related to goal. And strategy is made by whom? Top level guys, along with other two fellows. Who are the other two? Your tactical and operational. They help in increasing the advantage for your firm. They help in they are concerned with the scope of organizational activity. They help in matching the resources of the environment. See, like this you can make out anything of your choice. The first terms are very simple and easy for you to remember, right? After talking about characteristics, just see, why are we learning them? Here, one thing you should understand, most of our strategic decisions are likely to be complex in nature. Why? Because while you want to make a solution, see, dependent and interdependent factors antam vatni. You are changing one, other will get affected. There is a Michael E. Porter's 5 forces model. In course of lecture, I'll explain you. Or in a very simple terms, I'll tell you. Business today is sandwiched with many factors. As the interferences of factors increases, complexity increases. There's a word called split or pestle. Social, political, legal, economical, ecological, technological. It is not confined only to this. The list is growing day by day. More number of elements. If the number increases, what will increase? Complexity will increase. Why? Dependency will increase. Interdependency will increase. If I touch one, others also will get affected. It's like a carom board. You hit one, that goes and hits the other. That will have a lot of complications. So strategic decisions are likely to be complex in nature. And they are likely to be made in a situation of uncertainty. Most of these strategies we make in light of uncertainty. So it calls for an integrated approach. They manage change relationship and network outside the organization also. Yes, that is where you look for external environmental forces. And most of these decisions will involve change. Change ante enti, a new form of behavior. So all these words now we'll be talking again in the same unit. There are few models also associated. There I'll talk more about it. If not, what he'll do, students, if characteristics, if he has asked in the last, this time he may ask for a 4 marks question instead of 7. What is a strategy? What are the features of strategy? So straight away you can by heart these terms here. They help in foreseeing the uncertain events. They deal with long range or long term development rather than short term or routine. They help in managing 3 C's of business. What are these 3 C's? Customer, change, competition. And they are like blueprint or a roadmap. This word has come up many times in true or false. Strategy is a long range blueprint for an organization. Yes. It's a framework for your future development. Yes. Answer is true. If not characteristics for long question, levels of strategy for sure will come as a question for long. What is a strategy? What are the different levels of strategy? Students, here I have given a beautiful concept in a graphical manner. I think you may not find it in your material or it's more clumsy. If you learn this, your job is done. Assume that 7 marks are in your pocket. First of all, what are the levels of management? 3 levels of management. Top level, middle level, lower level. Adena? Henceforth, this is what level? Strategic. Tactical. Ikkada? Operational, or you can call it as what level? Functional level. What are all these now? They are called as levels of management. Levels of management. You'll make a khichdi of this answer. That's the reason I'm telling you this basic. Levels of strategy are corporate, SBU, functional. Levels of management are strategic, tactical, operational. Every time students mess out here. This is different, this is different. Levels of management. Management lo levels. Top level guys, strategic level, middle level, that is tactical level, and operational functional level. Like that they categorize. Levels of strategy. And strategy making lo kuda there are certain levels. Because strategy is made by everyone. But every level manager. But the nature and feature or focus of each one is different. What I'll do, I'll take an example of ITC. Have you heard about this brand? ITC company, right? So, you know what is ITC is into? They make cigarettes, FMCG, cigarettes. Inka? You have not heard hotels? Classmate notebook? Paper? ITC Bhadrachalam, etc., etc. Many businesses. 4 businesses are enough as of now. If you want to make a strategy for ITC, students, each of this business, we use a term called SBU. In the last page of your notebook, you write down this word SBU. Many times this has come. Strategic Business Unit. Strategic Business Unit is also called as business unit level. SBU, strategic business unit, which is also called as business unit level. Okay, just see here. When we are trying to make, assume that you are a owner of ITC. Here you will make one vision, one mission for the entire group. It's all your company, and let us say each of this is like your children. One business is one children. Danne manam SBU antam, strategic business unit. One is FMCG, one is makes cigarettes, the other makes hotel, like like that, different businesses. When I am making one vision and mission at a corporate level, it is a combination of all. So, students, maybe I'll show you a few examples also in vision and mission. When you are making a corporate vision, it is covering all the groups together. And the speciality of it would be when you are reading a corporate vision and mission, and if you are relating to different businesses, if you read from FMCG side, you feel that is matching 100% only to that business. When you are reading from like paper, you feel that is made only for them. But it is made in a generalized concept, keeping everything in mind. For example, this is important, students, try to understand here. In one of the topic called vision, mission, they'll ask you to create one corporate vision, SBU vision and all. Remember, corporate vision will be generalized. Students in class. Annappudu girls, boys both are included. But when I say SBU, ante dantlo malli categorization. Girls are one group, boys are one group. Again you want sub categorization. Boys again are different based on the age, experience, so on and so forth. Sub categorization we go, right? So when you are making a corporate strategy at top level, it is comprehensive. Comprehensive antam andike, ante combination of all. Comprehensive master plan. So these words are important, listen carefully. Malli kuda repeat avutundi idi. Corporate level strategy. What is the main focus at corporate level? At a group level, first one, growth, or dinne manamu we call it as expansion. I have lot of profits, I have lot of what you call money. Then after seeing all that, I may look for expansion. Expansion ante growth. I may go into some other business also, or I can strengthen going depth in the existing product line. Ante growth. Growth oka option is one option. When will a corporate think of expanding the business? What are the conditions for expansion, you tell me? When they have lot of capital, skilled manpower, latest technology you are using, less competition, more returns, more profits. That will encourage you to start one more business, right? Okay, expansion strategy. Quite opposite to it is retrenchment. Retrenchment ne we even call it as downsizing. Downsizing ante తగ్గించడం. Retrenchment word is important. Remember, retrench, reduce the scope. Retrenchment is reduction of a business. When will you cut down a business or reduce the scope of your business? Continuous losses, or product becoming outdated, product substitute has come into the market. These days, if the ITC plans for making Walkmans, radios, will somebody buy? No. Even if they are doing it, they should close down their business, retrench or downsize. Okay, that is one option. Expansion is one option. Quite opposite to it is reduction, that is downsizing, retrenchment. There's a third option. No, I'll not expand nor I'll cut down. Whatever I am, let me be perfect in it. దాన్నే మనము stability strategy అంటారు. What will you do in stability strategy? Remember this word. Stability strategy generally focuses on dash increasing of operational efficiency. Simple example. Last time students I gave the same example. Before the exam, 1 hour, 2 hour, or maybe 1 day before the exam, your friend calls you up. Are adi chadivava, idi chadivava ani. Then what will you do? Vachunte yes antaru, ledante no stop. I don't want to learn anything new now, nor I want to forget whatever I have learnt. Let me rehearse and be perfect in whatever I have done. Stability strategy is something similar to it. It talks about increasing the operational efficiency. That's it. We don't want to take up new risk, nor we want to forego something. So, stability strategy. There is one more third one which is called as hybrid. Hybrid ante enti? 2 or more features in one. When you have 2 or more features in one, ante that company partially it expands, partially it cut downs, partially they stabilize. It means it has 2 or more features in it. We call it as what strategy? Combinational strategy. Now students, without looking, can you tell me what are the 4 options? First of all, levels of strategy: corporate level, SBU. SBU is also called as business unit level. Functional strategy. What is the main focus of corporate strategy? Expansion or growth, or downsize, stability, hybrid or combinational. Learn both, because even if one misses out, you will be able to still manage. Let me tell you the definition. See, what is corporate strategy? I said it describes the company's overall direction. Overall ante comprehensively covering all, in terms of its general attitude towards the growth and management of its various businesses, ante various SBUs and product lines. It typically fit in 4 main categories as mentioned above. That 4 you should write here. Examples: like a company is including to invest in diversification, vertical integration, acquisition, new ventures, allocations of resources between different businesses, divestment. All this you will come to know once we get into the subject. Otherwise it will be all Greek and Latin. Some of these words: divestment ante enti? Complete liquidation, converting everything into cash, right? Harvest, partial liquidation and investing the same money in the same business, harvest antam. So the terms slowly you will get to learn them. No regrets. Expansion, retrenchment, stability, combination. These 4 words you remember. And corporate level. Corporate level main focus is on these 4 areas. Okay, done. Let us go to the second, SBU, strategic business unit. This was asked as a definition many times. This was asked as an abbreviation many times. SBU stands for strategic business unit, also called as business unit level strategy. Ante Just now we were talking about ITC, no? Each of this business, they are different. Making of soaps is different from making a cigarette. Cigarette making is entirely different from paper making. So can you have a Jinda Talisman strategy there? Same for all? No. Products are different, services are different. So there the approach also should be different. So generally what they do at SBU level, they again will have their own vision and mission. This question was asked some time back. Each SBU will have corporate vision and mission, covers all of them. It is like a family mission and vision. Individually, SBU again will have their own vision and mission. Why? Because their nature of activities are different. Their products are different. Their processes are different. Their manpower is different. Their profit earning capacity is different. So remember this point. Okay, what is the main focus here? The main focus is on two things. One is competitive. Ante, in FMCG, there are many fellows who make soaps and your ITC company is one among them. Paper, there are many fellows who makes papers, notebooks. ITC is one among them. There are many fellows who have hotels and ITC is one among them. So what type of strategy will you do at SBU level? To compete with the competitors, right? And build competitive advantage. That is one. The other one is cooperative strategy. What is cooperative strategy, students? One SBU helping other. Okay, no one is buying the soaps these days, so what should I do? Anyhow, the fellows will come to hotel, no? Give them that soaps only there, right? Or like, giving notebook along with the soap. Why? When the fellow is like the sales for soap is high, I'll attach some more to it. Or nobody is coming to hotel, you give some offer along with soaps. You win and stay in the hotel one day and so like what is happening here? Cooperative strategy. How one business is helping the other business in the company. So what are the two strategies we follow here? Competitive and cooperative. Last one, functional strategy. What are the different functional areas you have? HR, marketing, finance, production, operations, all this we call it as functional levels. Here, what strategies do we do? Differentiation. Just now I said what is differentiation and building up of competitive advantage. Understood? So, see the definition. What is SBU? Usually occurs at what level? Business unit level or a product level. It emphasizes on improvement of competitive position and cooperations of products and services in specific industry or market segment served by that unit. They fit in two general categories as mentioned above, competitive and cooperative. What is functional strategy? Approach taken by functional area to achieve corporate business unit objectives by maximizing resources productivity. It is concerned with developing a distinctive competence antene differentiation and provide the business unit with a competitive advantage. So have you understood? Only this diagram, if you remember, full marks are in our pocket. In evaluation also, we see, suppose, let us assume here there is a question for, generally it will be for long question. Let us say even if he gives for like 4 marks, 1 mark for definition, 1 mark, 1 mark, 1 mark. So what he will do? Half mark for level, half mark for this description. That's it. Even if you draw the diagram without explanation also, still he will give you marks. Right? Because the compilation here is in your own words and diagram speaks a lot qualitatively. So that's the reason, I have given out in the form of a diagram there. Understood? So, have you understood what are the different levels of strategy now? Just to test your knowledge, how do you differentiate between 3 levels of strategy? Just now we talked about corporate, SBU, functional strategy. Some differences I have taken. First of all, Corporate strategy is conceptual type of strategy. Conceptual ante enti? What is conceptuality? Have you heard about this anytime? It's a conceptuality means creativity plus innovation. Creativity, something new, something unusual, something which has never existed, something what you are finding for the first time. దాన్ని మనం క్రియేటివ్ అంటాం. ఇన్నోవేషన్, creativity into action is called as innovation. So conceptuality means creativity and innovation. When you want to make a corporate strategy, you need to be creative, you need to be innovative, right? So both words are combined in word, you say conceptuality. SBU is a mixed. Generally SBU we don't compare because we compare extremes, means and ends. So what type of skills are required for functional? Functional are more of operational skills. Measurability, corporate is high, functional is low. Frequency of this corporate is spontaneity, whereas functional it is periodic, routine. Relation to the present activity, conceptuality కాబట్టి it will be more of innovative, here it will be supplementary. Rest of the words like risk, profit potential, cost factor, flexibility, all will be high in the case of corporate level, and SBU level lo all are low. Corporate strategy, just now we said, is a long range, but whereas functional, routine kada, mechanistic, they are for short range. And cooperation, since there are less people at the top, low cooperation, because less number of people in the pyramid, right? Top level will be very less. As you come down to operational, the cooperation required is high. If at all, if he asks you to differentiate, sometimes he may check your knowledge. How far have you understood this concept and any? This is a ready-made concept. Maybe he may not ask about SBU, because most of them it will be middle, mixed, middle, like that you may have the answer. But two extremes he may ask. What this guy has done, he is referring to two different types of strategies. Actually, red ocean strategy, this I got it from your material. Ikkada vaste 1 mark ya fir no mark. Okay. What is a red ocean and blue ocean strategy? Actually, this is a terminology what people use. Ante the approach, strategic approach, based on it they are categorized as blue ocean and red ocean strategy. See, here what is the main focus of red ocean? They focus on current customer. And blue ocean strategy, they focus on non-customer. ఇక్కడ ఇది ఒక్క పాయింట్ మీరు నేర్చుకుంటే చాలు. రెడ్ ఓషన్ ఫోకస్ ఆన్ కరెంట్ కస్టమర్స్, అండ్ ఇక్కడ బ్లూ ఓషన్ నాన్ కస్టమర్స్. దెన్ యూ మే ఆస్క్ క్వశ్చన్, సార్ వై ఆర్ వి కవరింగ్ దెమ్? జనరల్గా ఎలా ఉంటారంటే కస్టమర్స్ కేటగిరీస్, ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ. ఓన్లీ వన్ వర్డ్ వి యూస్, కస్టమర్స్. చూడండి ఎన్ని టైప్స్ ఉంటారు. నాన్ యూజర్స్, ఎక్స్ యూజర్స్, potential users, first time, regular, or routine. Just see, the word itself will give you the meaning. Non-user, the fellow who has never used. Ex-user, used, got fed up, now he is not using. Right? Ex-user ante already now he is not using it. Potential, he is not using now, might use in the future. First time user, regular user. Why are we classifying them into different? Our strategy for marketing would be different for different fellow. Understood? If he is a non-user, చెప్పేది చెప్తాము, ఇంటర్ వినకుండా వినడు. నాన్ యూజర్స్. సో ద ఫోకస్ ఆఫ్ బ్లూ ఓషన్ స్ట్రాటజీ ఈజ్ లైక్ దట్. టీవీలో నీకు నచ్చినా నచ్చకున్నా వాడు అదే యాడ్ వేస్తాడు, నీకు నచ్చకుంటే ఇంకో ఛానల్ తిప్పుకుంటావు అంతే. బ్లూ ఓషన్ స్ట్రాటజీ. క్లాస్, వెదర్ యూ లైక్ ఆర్ డోంట్ లైక్, ద టీచర్ హ్యాస్ టు టీచ్, సో హీల్ టీచ్. Blue ocean strategy, because there depend, that is an intention. If not, if he doesn't listen all, at least something he'll listen. With that focus, the blue ocean strategy comes in. Red ocean strategy, existing customers ante that fellow has used once and now he's not using, ante I'll go to him and I'll ask, what is your problem, why did you discontinue? Like most of this exit surveys student, you are not subscribing, you want to discontinue with certain app, he'll ask immediately for your feedback. Please comment what you didn't like so that we'll come back with a better service next time. Understood? So red ocean strategies are like that. So what do? They compete in the existing market, board the competition, exploit the demand, make the value cost trade off. These are all the action plans. Time unte okkasari chadukondi, ledante you can even work out on your own also. But one word you should know, that red ocean strategy is for current customers and this focus is on non-customers. Okay, that's all. So students, in this unit, strategy concept is done. So let me just recall what we have done. Strategy lo meer em నేర్చుకున్నారు చెప్పండి so far. What is business policy? Definition is important. Strategy, meaning and the word from where it has been derived. Then definition, for sure you should learn. Then characteristics, features, levels of strategy. Clear? So out of this, if at all, if he is giving a long question, there's a possibility that he may ask characteristics as a long question. Second long question expected is on levels of strategy. Levels of strategy. Understood? So this 2 qualifies for total full marks. ఒకవేళ 3 marks question or 4 marks question ఇస్తే ఏమిస్తాడు? Features of strategy. Features of strategy. Sometimes characteristics also can come. అలాంటప్పుడు don't write all whichever you have learnt. 3 marks ఉన్నప్పుడు 3 రాయండి, 4 marks ఉన్నప్పుడు 4, ఇంకా అంతకంటే బియాండ్ అయితే he'll not go, he'll give directly for 7 marks. Configuration. The configuration, soon after the question they'll write the bifurcation of marks. See that and then answer. You can limit. Suppose if it is only 1 mark, 2 marks, sometime definitions adugutunnadu. For definitions, he may ask what is strategy, business policy. The other word which I have seen is corporate level strategy, SBU strategy. SBU has come many times. If it is 1 mark question, what should you focus? That fill in the blank. What is business policy? Definition already chadivaru kabatti it is gone. What to do, where to go to do. Strategy definition lo I have highlighted, you remember? Different colors. This one. He may ask this. Are true or false that it maximizes competitive advantage, minimizes competitive disadvantage. Or Greek word strategia means generalship. Adi kuda 1 mark question. Ledante there could be a question on red ocean and blue ocean strategy. Clear? Worst case, if you want to test your knowledge, he may ask the differences between this red ocean and blue ocean also. అలాంటప్పుడు మీరు ఏం చేయండి అంటే లాస్ట్ లైన్ చూడండి, అక్కడ కాస్ట్ డిఫరెన్సియేషన్, లో కాస్ట్. సో హియర్ యాక్చువల్లీ యూ కెన్ రైట్ ఆన్ యువర్ ఓన్ ఆల్సో, బట్ ద ఫస్ట్ పాయింట్ ఈస్ దిస్ వన్, కరెంట్ కస్టమర్స్, non-customers. This will decide your fate there. Straight away you will get 1 mark there, and remaining and all whatever you write you can write on your own also the differences. So 99% రాదు, వస్తే 1 mark or no mark. But if at all, if you don't want to skip anything, you just study that also and close. So are you confident here in strategy? Let us go to the next word, strategic management. Students, what is strategic management? It's a set of managerial decisions and actions which determine the long run performance of a company. Ante all those actions which helps to do my business today and tomorrow, that subject is called as strategic management. All those set of managerial decisions and actions that determine that determine the long run performance of a company. We call it as strategic management. Or it's a pool or stream of decisions and actions which lead to the development of effective strategy to help the company to achieve its objective. What would be an objective or goal of any company? ఈ రోజు నేను సర్వైవ్ ఉండాలి, రేపు కూడా నేను ఉండాలి. That is an objective, right? So today and tomorrow, both survival it looks for. If at all, if you want to make a definition on your own, strategic management is all about pool ante there are many strategies, decisions and actions which help the company to live for today and tomorrow, or long term performance of a company. That is called as strategic management. What are the two goals or objectives of strategic management? In your material he has given many, but first two are very, very important, students. Maximum marks will come here only. What are the objectives? The first objective is, after learning this subject, you should be in a situation to crack the competitive advantages. And you should be able to build some advantages for your company. Second, change is the one is an uninvited guest. You should cope up with the change. ఇక్కడే కొంచెం ఎక్స్ట్రా చెప్తాను చూడండి, నెక్స్ట్ యూనిట్లో దట్ విల్ బీ హెల్ప్ఫుల్. There is something called as strategic decision making, SDM. Strategic decision making. Decision is made at every level, top level, middle level, everywhere you make a decision. The decision what you make at strategic level is called as strategic decision making. What is the decision making, students? What is decision making? How do you define decision making? Choosing one option among many options. Decision making is a process of choosing one option among many options. So here when we are talking about strategic decision making process, see, there will be two options for us. The first option is to cope with competitive advantage, right? So for which there is something called as what strategies? Generic strategies. Generic strategies ante basic strategies. There's a person called Michael E. Porter. This fellow's name you have to remember. Michael E. Porter, he has created something called as generic strategies. What are these three generic strategies? Cost leadership. I'll repeat this topic. If you remember here, it's okay. But otherwise, again, we'll talk. Second, differentiation. Third, focus. This is a 4 marks question. That is the reason I'm covering here only. So, alternatives ante options. Two options enduku vastayi? One is to build competitive advantage. That is the first objective of strategic management. To get that competitive advantage, how will I increase? One of the area is cost leadership. What is cost leadership again? Suppose there is a bottle, a steel bottle which I have to make. You also have a steel bottle, I also have a steel bottle. This is Cello brand, that might be Milton brand or some other brand. Everybody is making a steel bottle now. Let us assume minimum cost of production of this, whomsoever make, minimum cost is 100 rupees. Minimum cost. After that it might be, cost might be varying, that's a different story. But if somebody is able to make less than 100 rupees, how will it be possible? I know it's cost leadership, but how will it be possible? How will you make cost leadership? It is by producing in less cost. How do you do that? It is by using IT and automation tools. Ante technology use chesi the cost can be reduced. Skilled manpower training ippichi, that cost can come down. Or I bulk the raw material in bulk, economies of scale enter. Bulk low purchase, so that the cost of production will come down. So such mastery in producing in less cost. It's not about reducing cost. Remember, cost leadership is not about reducing price. It is becoming a master or becoming a leader in managing in less cost. Danne cost leadership antaru. Differentiation, variation from others. Focus, intensification, becoming more rigorous. So what are these three strategies? Generic strategies. The next one, first one I told, second one is to cope up with change. Change. Change is the second objective. Here competitive advantage, change. This fellow talks about directional. Grand or directional strategies. Grand or directional strategies. ఈ గ్రాండ్ డైరెక్షనల్ స్ట్రాటజీస్ ఏంటి అంటే ఇందాకనే మనం చదివాము అక్కడ. ఎక్స్పాన్షన్ ఆర్ గ్రోత్, స్టెబిలిటీ, రిట్రెంచ్మెంట్, హైబ్రిడ్. అండర్స్టూడ్? సో దిస్ కాన్సెప్ట్ అగైన్ కమ్స్ ఫర్ రివిజన్ విచ్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు గో ఇన్ డెప్త్. దీనికి ఏంటంటే ఇట్స్ ఎ కాంబినేషన్ ఆఫ్ లెవెల్స్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రాటజీ, ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రాటజీ, ఇవన్నీ కూడా లింక్ అయిపోతాయి. స్లోలీ యూ విల్ ట్రై టు కనెక్ట్ అప్. That is the reason I am telling you. So, as of now, remember these two words. That main objective of strategic management is to create competitive advantage and to cope up with change. Now, this I got it from your material only. Objectives. What is the main objective? To identify the opportunity and adapt the resources to exploit opportunities. To create an opportunity by stretching the resources, competencies and capitalizing on them. To help the managers to understand the key relationship among actions, context, performance by providing a conceptual framework. To help an organization to enjoy competitive advantage. Chusara, ee word chustadu vadu, technical word. Right, again somewhere it talks about change management. So rest of the words you might be wondering, సార్ అక్కడ అన్ని వర్డ్స్ ఇచ్చాడు కదా, హౌ డు వీ గో అబౌట్? యూ నీడ్ నాట్ టు వరీ. ఫస్ట్ టూ నేర్చుకోండి, దోస్ ఆర్ ఆల్ మ్యాండేటరీ. రిమైనింగ్ అండ్ ఆల్ బై డిఫాల్ట్ విల్ ఫాల్ ఇన్ లైన్ వన్స్ వీ ప్రోగ్రెస్ టు ది నెక్స్ట్ టాపిక్, రైట్? సో యూ నీడ్ నాట్ టు వరీ, బై డిఫాల్ట్ ఇట్ విల్ కమ్. Now a question arises, sir, why are we studying this subject at all? Why to study? What is the importance of strategic management? This you listen carefully. Can be a question for long. First, it focuses on KRA, key result area. Idi raskondi. Key result area, KRA. CSF, critical success factor. Critical success factor. KPI, key performance indicator. KPA, key performance area. Key result area, critical success factor, key performance indicator, key performance area. Out of this, CSF. Critical success factor. Again, about this we'll be discussing in the topics to come. All means one and the same. Key result area, key critical performance indicator, key performance area. What does it mean? Out of the factors, you identify main factors. For example, in this material, all are important, but there are some topics which are important, very, very important. So what we do? We put a double star marks, triple star marks, like that. So this strategic management will help us to focus on those important areas, critical success factors. Ante the factors which gives you a good results. A simple example we'll talk. Out of this class, we need to select a best student, right? So how do we select the best student? There has to be certain criteria, right? If I ask you what are the criteria, you may write a book on it. Some 100 qualities you may say, but not all qualities are important, right? So whichever are key, means key resulting areas or critical success factors. Let us say out of that 100, we say 5 or 6 criteria are very, very important. Those factors are helping us to select a best student in the class, right? Similarly, strategic management focuses on those key important areas or critical performance areas or critical success factors, key performance indicators, all means one and the same. This helps us to be proactive. Strategic management will help us to be proactive. Here, I'll just deviate for a while to teach you some basic. Management is all about conversion of your inputs to output. This is called as transformation or process. Listen, this basic is required. When you are trying to transfer, there are certain efforts what you will be doing at input level. Input level low, why do we do? Because you want to be proactive. దీన్నే we call it as anticipatory or feed forward or expected. Proactive changes, anticipatory changes, feed forward changes, expected changes. What does it mean? Some changes, what you do well in advance before the activity. Apple a day keeps a doctor away. It's a proactive initiative. Preparation for exam, proactive initiative. Why? Because you don't want to fail tomorrow, you are studying. Proactivism. Proactivism ante enti? You are doing something much before the end of an activity or before the final of the activity. Proactive. What is quite opposite to it, students? Reactive. We can call it as historical. We can call it as feedback. Right? So what are all this? What are all this? Already you have got output. After seeing the output, after seeing the experience, you wanted to change. You wanted to change much before, proactive. After the event, reactive. So again, preparation for exam, but after seeing the results for supplementary. Such preparation is reactive, right? So ఇప్పుడు చదివేది మీరు proactive. After writing exam, after getting results, if you are preparing again, that is reactive. So whatever you have done there, the mistakes, you will again cover, rectify, and then you will do it. That is a reactive approach. But the speciality of reactive approach is that will help us for that exam, coming exam, but it will not have a repercussion on the previous exam. Understood? So strategic management as a subject will always helps us to be proactive, not reactive. It gives us good future. It solves mistakes, pitfalls, problems. It helps us in decision making. It helps in building core competency. Core competency ante enti? Basic skill set. It enhances your skills. It helps in building competitive advantage. Next, it helps us to build learning organization and knowledge management. This also you take. LO is learning organization. KM is knowledge management. LO is learning organization and KM is knowledge management. And one definition also you take for learning organization. Organizations, definition for learning organization. Organizations which has avenues. Organizations which has avenues for continuously updating and upgrading themselves. Organizations which has avenues for continuously updating and upgrading themselves. We call them as learning organization. Okay? Just listen what it is. Today, every company wants to become a learning organization. Why? What is a learning organization? I'll just go back to the previous stuff. The complete corporate today can be classified into 3 categories based on the approaches to change. The first one, there are few companies which fall under this category. Proactive. There are some companies which fall under this category. Reactive. There are some organizations which fall under learning organizations. Now let us see what are the features of each one of them. There are some companies which already have problems. So if they already have a problems, what should they do? They should overcome that. So your strategic management is for those companies which are in deep trouble, grave trouble, to overcome that problem. Such we call them as reactive based companies. There are some companies, they don't have a problem now, but they anticipate that the problem will come tomorrow. So what these fellows will do? They'll change in anticipation to the futuristic problem. Danne manamu strategic management antam. Proactive changes. There is few companies, neither they have a problem now, nor they expect the problem will come tomorrow, but still they would love to change. Still they would love to learn. Why? Because it is like building the immunity about the system, environmental problems. How do they build immunity? You learn whatever comes in your way. You'll acquire that knowledge, and that knowledge somewhere or the other it will be helpful. That is where the concept of knowledge management comes into the picture. But first of all, what is knowledge? I'll remove this L down here. Knowledge is something to know till the edge. It is just the process. Knowing something till the edge is called as knowledge. So you may ask a question, sir, what will you do with L? This will lead to learning. A question arises, why learning? Again you divide. It's a link for earning. If you don't learn, you will not earn, for sure. So what companies are doing, they are making it as a lifelong process. Today every corporate, 30 to 40% of their profits they are diverting towards training and development, learning and development. Why? Because it's a lifelong process if they want to earn. So what does this knowledge management generally talks about? It talks about 3 activities. First, collection of knowledge, organizing and disseminating. What is disseminating? Disseminating ante giving away, giving out, digging out. So collection of knowledge, organizing ante classifying and storing them in a different manner, giving away is dissemination. So knowledge management is all those activities of collecting the knowledge, storing the knowledge and giving away the knowledge as and when required. So today what is happening in this knowledge based society, LO and KM is becoming a part and parcel of the subject, and that again becomes a part and parcel of the importance why you study strategic management. It will give you a clear sense of vision. So why strategic management, or what is the importance of strategic management, will be a question for long, so be careful. All these side headings, if you learn as it is, also your job is met. What are the advantages of strategic management? Limitations and advantages, if not this one, can be a question for long again. What are the advantages of strategic management? It helps the board to discharge the responsibilities. It focuses on objective. It's a framework for your performance management. They support in understanding buy-in, means making something better. Enables the measurement of progress. They provide organizational perspective. What are the limitations? Limitations lo mostly you will write cost. I know everyone will write cost, time. By default everyone will write. I don't know how you get that option, but the major limitations of strategic management is future is not as anticipated. You think many things, but all does not come to reality. That's again a limitation, right? Time and rasna kuda we give marks here. Okay, future does not unfold as anticipated. It can be costly. Long-term benefit versus immediate results. This is always a dilemma when you are making a strategy. Now see, just now I said knowledge management, training and development. These two are different. Training is for immediate results. Development, long-term results. You send your employees for training. Before training, you will see how much they are producing. You will have all that figures noted. You send them for training. After training, that fellow will come back. After he comes back, you will see whatever he has learned, is he able to produce more or no? If he is able to produce more, the training has a lot of impact. If he is not doing it, there is no unnecessarily you wasted money on him. Kada? Development is a long-term educative process. Ante it is like pick up a handful of different variety of seeds, grams, pulses, all that mix up, put it in the soil. Everyone will sprout up. Ante everyone will sprout up. Sprouts will come up. But not all will come at one go. Your knowledge is like that. You don't know which one will sprout up, which will be useful in what context. So today what they have done is, as a part of your strategic management, they give a lot of importance to knowledge acquisition and knowledge dissemination. Ante getting and giving. So that is where LO and KM, maybe till you complete your course, many times these concepts will haunt you. So again, there is a limitation between long-term benefit and immediate results. Immediate results is your training. Long-term results is your development. So where should I send my employees? Should I send for the immediate requirement? Should I be a reactive based approach, or should I be a proactive approach, or should it be a continuous approach? Continuous approach is always advisable, and it will impede the flexibility, and it will become a barrier for change. Okay, these are all the limitations of strategic management. Remember, ఒకవేళ ఇది లాంగ్ క్వశ్చన్కి ఇస్తే generally this limitations will be for less version. Limitations will be maximum for 2 marks and major marks would be for advantages. Okay, or sometime he gives what is strategic management, what are the advantages and disadvantages. Definition will be for 1 or 2 marks. Remaining portion, definition and limitations will be always for less marks. Advantages will be for more marks. Have you understood? Okay. Be careful. Then let us now go to strategic management model. Before to that, let me tell you what are the 5 stages in strategic management. How do we begin? The first stage is called as introduction stage or beginning stage, where you will have a question for yourself. Where are we now? First you need to know where you are. Then you should decide where you want to go or what you want to be in the future. That is what destination. This is starting point, this is ending point. The moment you have decided where to go, which route or how should I go there, which route will take me there. The moment you have started your journey, you should know whether you are going in the right path or not. That is called as evaluation. And if you are not going, you should rectify it. That is called as control. The 5 stages of strategic management are introduction, end, means, evaluation and control. Ikkada 1 mark question vaste chance untundi. What he'll do, he'll mix up all these steps. He'll ask them to make them in the order. Which comes first? Beginning, and most of you will get confused with these 2 words. End kostadi anukuntaru, but no, end will be the second step. Because first of all, you'll decide where you are. Unless until you decide where you want to go, you'll not get into the bus, right? So end, destination. The moment you decide, then you'll see which mode of transportation would be better, whether it is a bus or bike or whatever. Once you start the journey, the evaluation starts. Did I make a good decision or not? Suppose if it is a wrong decision, you'll again get down from the bus and you'll go by cab. Understood? This is how the concept of strategic management also happens. Students, the next one, this model, what is this model all about? You tell me now. Because before starting the subject itself, I thought you strategic management model. For sure, this is a long question, 7 marks question. What are the different steps, process, anything he may say, in strategic management model. What is the first step I said? Analysis. Analysis stage low. Analysis, what we do? We are doing environmental scanning. Environmental scanning is also called as environmental monitoring. ఈ definition చాలా సార్లు అడిగాడు చూడండి. What is it? I have written here. Environmental scanning is also called as environmental monitoring. It is just the process of gathering the information regarding the company's environment, analyzing it, forecasting the impact of all predictable environmental changes. Okay. So this definition you have to by heart. What are we trying to do? In a simple version, as a part of our environmental scanning, we are like a watchdog. We are seeing within, we are seeing outside. We are collecting information from internal sources, internal analysis, about your structure, about your culture, about your resources. External, outside, social, political, legal, economical, ecological, technological, all these factors. Why are we trying to know? Like these are called as general forces or industry specific forces. What are industry specific forces? Like some are labor intensive. Most of the services industry is labor intensive and less productive. Ante production lo today you have automated, but in services sector they are all more of labor based. So industry specific scenario annappudu only that, like for example summer month, there's a scarcity for water, scarcity for like problem with electricity. There are certain companies where they may use, but they may use less. So వాళ్ళకేం impact ఉండదు. But there are certain companies where they are 100% dependent on these two factors. Don't you think that the scarcity of it will make a problem? Yes. So industry specific forces. What are we trying to know there? The expectations, their competencies and capabilities we try to find out. If you remember this, it's okay. Otherwise, if you write internal, external also is fine. Then, what is the second word I said? As a part of first one, establishing strategic intent. What is strategic intent I said? What is strategic intent? It's a magnet. I said it is for 1 mark question. In the blank la kuda ravochu. Dash is a magnet, a force field that pulls the company from present to future. It is like a aim. Third word is gap, strategic gap. After you analyze, you find out gap. What is gap? Strategic gap. A difference between your expectations and actuals. Okay. So first step, are you comfortable? Analysis. Analysis two types, internal, external. Only extra we add is the process. We are trying to monitor the environment, environmental monitoring, or we are trying to scan, or you can even call it as environmental scanning. After scanning, that is analysis. You try to take the feedback from internal and external. We try to match our expectations and actuals. If they match, there is no problem at all, which will never happen. Always you will find the gap, either greater than or less than. That is called as strategic gap. To close down that gap is your intention. That is what we call it as strategic intent. Okay, first step is done. Second step, we should formulate the strategy, strategic formulation. How the strategic formulation starts? First, it starts with vision. Vision is foresightedness. What you want your company to be tomorrow is vision. Foresightedness. What you want to be tomorrow is vision. What do you want to be tomorrow? A father and mother? Huh? No. What you want to be tomorrow? That is your vision. A cost accountant or cost and work accountant, whatever. That is vision. Just because you thought, will you become? No. What is it? What is required? Mission is required. What is a mission now? An action plan to achieve vision. An action plan to achieve mission is vision is mission. Then objectives and goals. What are they? They are purposes. Purpose of any organization for its existence. Why you all are here? There is a purpose. Why am I teaching? There is a purpose. Why is this institute running here? Is a purpose. So, mission will lead to objectives and goals. That will lead to strategies. Objectives or goals will become strategies. What are strategies? Tricks. Trick to manage some affair. That is what we have just learnt. That will lead to policies. What are policies? Broad guidelines. See, I have written that one line definition also for you. Just see here. Vision is foresightedness. Mission is what? An action plan to achieve vision. Goals, purpose of existence. Strategy is a trick to manage affairs. Policies are broad guidelines for decision making. Programs are activities needed to accomplish a plan. And programs generally comes up in implementation part. Then budget. Budget ante is a cost of the program. Procedure. It's a sequence of steps what you do or which is needed. Sequence of steps needed to do a job is procedure. So implementation will have three things: programs, budgets, procedures. That is the third part. Once it is implemented, evaluation and control is the next step, which evaluates your performance ante the actual results, present results, and futuristic potential antam danni. Potential is what? Likelihood contribution, futuristic contribution. So evaluation and control. And you might be wondering, why did I add this here? You'll understand once I get into this subject. Sometime back there was a question for 4 marks. He asked general question. That is the reason I added that extra. What are the major elements for successful implementation, evaluation and control of a strategy? Ante, what is required? What are the essential elements to be kept in mind when you are talking about implementation, evaluation and control? Good leader should be there. There should be a good structure, organizational structure, culture, and of course effective change management. Believe me, 99.9% accuracy. No one has written this because you are just mugging up the concepts. You are not learning. That's the problem. So now for you it may not be great because I'll show you that connections also. Koncham first class lo, because as I said, it's a wild card entry. Direct ga meeru subject lo land avutunnaru kabatti it will take at least one class. From after the break you'll see the concepts will slowly get linked up one by one. See, had I not thought that initially strategic management illa 4 parts ani, this itself would have taken a lot of time for you. Just see now, already you know the concept. You know what is strategic gap, now what is scanning, what is evaluation, what is analysis. Once this basic is known, from here the confidence will build up. Kaakapote, I'm telling you, 100% you should listen. Ikkada ఏ మాత్రం అజాగ్రత్త ఉన్నా కూడా, see, for me it hardly matters whether you listen or not. But if you listen, I'm telling you, you'll realize the benefit in the exam. ఎందుకంటే ఆటోమేటికలీ that confidence level will bud up. And ఒక్కసారి విని మీరు సొంతంగా చదవండి, nothing will shaken you up. And as I said, this is an easiest part. Provided guided preparation undali. Guided ante first of all the teacher should make it easy. From there you just see the benefits. And I'm telling you, once you are thorough with this topic, automatically meeku 50% confidence vastundi exam lo. I said 40% weightage, no? 4 units. So easily you can. So performance and potential. Students, what is this link? I said feedback. What does feedback will do? Change is the one which is permanent, I said. Whenever there's a change, it will incorporate that changes at every level. At formula analysis level, at formulation level, at implementation level. So that changes will be incorporated. Ikkada malli ikkada arrow marks unnai kada. That changes are incorporated and it will be like a continuous process. So if he is asking you about strategic management model, see how beautifully I have compiled everything in one place, right? So you need to know this terminology, right? And formulation. Sir, diagram draw cheste marks vastaya. You may not get full marks. Why? The explanation part is required. Now you tell me, if you want to write what is environmental scanning, just now I said it's a process of collecting the information. From where will you collect? Internal sources, external sources. And as a part of strategic, first step analysis, we try to monitor and we try to make intent, strategic intent. ఇంకా మాకు కావాల్సిందే ఆ వర్డ్స్ అక్కడ వాడు వాడాడా లేదా వాడాడు వాడు ఎలా అయినా రాయని ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ యూ రైట్ వన్ పేజ్ వన్ బుక్ ఆర్ ఓన్లీ యూ రైట్ దిస్ టూ వర్డ్స్ ఎన్వైరన్మెంటల్ స్కానింగ్ అండ్ ఇంటెంట్ ఫుల్ మార్క్స్. హ్యావ్ యూ అండర్స్టూడ్? That is where I'm emphasizing on side headings, this piece of, and blindly you can rely on this material. Some of these concepts I got it from your material also straight away. 99% you need not to touch your material. You can bank on this for material what Prasad will give you. Okay. So what you do is just take a small break. After the break, we'll talk about vision, mission and all this stuff at length. So how much time do you